Dramatic scenes from an Alaska Airlines flight forced to make an emergency landing. The plane suddenly lost a section of its fuselage mid-flight, leaving passengers and crew exposed to outside elements at a high altitude. There were no reported injuries, and the airline says the plane landed safely. Alaska Airlines says it is grounding its fleet of Boeing 737 MAX 9 passenger planes following that major malfunction. Freelance journalist Steve Futterman is tracking the details for us, and he joins us now from Los Angeles. So, Steve, what more can you tell us about how this happened?
Well, Marianne, the flight was taking off late afternoon yesterday. It was on its way from Portland to Southern California, to Ontario, California Airport. That's just around 100 kilometers east of Los Angeles. 6 minutes into the flight, this incident happened. Suddenly, on the exit roll, it's not the door, but it looks like the outline of the door. They call it a plug. It can be used as a door, but it wasn't being used in this case as a door. So they have a plug in there that looks like the outline of a door. That blew out with the window, and suddenly the plane depressurized. Lots of panic, obviously, inside the plane. We talked to one person who said that there was a loud boom or a blast. And these are what some of the people who were on the flight said their initial reaction was when they heard this explosion.
And then I look to my left, and there's this huge chunk, part of the airplane, just like missing. And the wind is just extremely loud. There's wind blowing everywhere.
You know, one of the guys that was there, his shirt was sucked out, and his phone was sucked out. And, and the pilot just, by the faith of God, he got us landed.
So obviously grateful passengers there. There was applause apparently when the plane did touch down. Now the pilot immediately declared an emergency. As the passenger mentioned, pressurization was the big issue. The plane quickly depressurized. There may have been some cell phones and other loose items that were quickly sucked out of the plane. A mother who was sitting nearby was actually holding her young child in her arms to make sure the child wasn't sucked out as well. Once the plane was able to be lowered from around 5,000 to 3,000 feet, the pressurization issue did calm down a bit, and then the plane did land. It finally touched down around 40 minutes after takeoff from Portland. It touched down again, and the passengers deplaned, and they have lots of stories to tell today.
Absolutely, Steve. What a harrowing 40 minutes it was to hear those details of what was transpiring as that was happening. But as we also know, the entire 737 MAX fleet was actually grounded after two crashes in 2019, killed hundreds of people. So what did the safety review process after that look like?
Well, as you mentioned, Alaska Airlines, out of an abundance of caution, not surprisingly, it has grounded its entire fleet of 737s. That amounts to around 65 planes out of around 300 planes. So around 1/5 of Alaska Airlines' fleet is grounded right now. So it will cause some problems. But the issue a few years ago was with a computer software program from the cockpit. So this does not seem to be related to that right now. Obviously, the National Transportation Safety Board, the investigating body in the U.S., will be investigating this incident. Also Alaska Airlines, and also Boeing, which makes the plane. So all three entities will conduct investigations. They will obviously be checking similar planes. This was a relatively new plane, which raises some concerns. It was only off the assembly line for around 2 months. So that's concerning as well. They will also check other planes that were part of this package that was taken up by Alaska Airlines. But right now, other airlines around the country and the world, the 737, a very popular plane, those have not been grounded right now. No indication that there's going to be a worldwide grounding of that plane, at least right now.
All right. Thanks so much for this update. Freelance journalist Steve Futterman.
Thank you, Marianne.
In Los Angeles.